that one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality. Would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Wendy Paquette, and this is the Crossroads to Awakening show. So this has been a magnificent day because we're leaning into imagination, and what a greater place to, deliver my work in this reality as a holographic mind reprogrammer, because I help humans stuck at a crossroads awaken to their true selves and change the world from where they stand. Because I believe as a high-frequency human, how you see your reality is a direct reflection of the programs that are etched into your brain, and those can easily be shifted when you see your truth for what it is. So if you'd like to access more of yourself, come find me at wendypaquette.com and send me a message, and we can dig through all of those programs and actualize your true self in this reality now. So let's get started. Today's episode is how your imagination can change your current reality. It's such a powerful conversation because inside of your mind, which holds all of your programs and the access and permission slip to creativity, to imagination, to possibility, this is the space where you get to play and create from. And if you're not careful and you're just reactionary living in your reality, you're going to spend most of your time reacting to the life that you're not even creating, because you're receiving input from everywhere you look, everywhere you live, and everything you listen to or see, and therefore you're reacting to all those impressions. And if that's how you're living your life, how can you ever get what you want out of it? How can this reality be yours and be a space, a playground of possibility and creativity and creation so that you can experience it? Pretty much impossible from my perspective anyway. So let's dive in and see how your imagination can change your current reality. And that can change today. So let's dive deep and play and open up all those possibilities so that you can experience your reality from a space you've never experienced it before, which is as the creator. So I wanted to start out with a quote from Walt Disney. He says, "Worry is a waste of imagination." Worry is a waste of imagination. Can you imagine the one human that lived on this planet who created the most fun place in the world for both children, teens, and adults is the one person who said worry is a waste of imagination? Because when you're worrying about something, you're literally putting your energy and focus into the worry of that thing. And as we know, and we're learning to know, and we're stepping into, whatever you're placing your focus on, that's what you're expanding into your reality, and that's where you're creating from. So if you're spending most of your time worried about something, you're going to expand that thing you're worried about. So, as Walt Disney would encourage you, let's lean into what else is possible. What do you want? And what would you like to create and see and experience and feel in your world today? So, my first question to you is, what do you think your imagination is for? Do you think children are the only ones who use their imagination and get to play in that space? And as a child, that's your only opportunity to play in worlds that don't even exist for you, but imagine that they do. It's like when you're a kid and your parents buy a new appliance and they have this big ass box, right? And you draw a door and a window and curtains and a roof, and at least that's what I did. And then you have your mom or dad cut it out, or you take the scissors and you cut out a door, and then you cut the window out, and you cut out maybe a secret back door, or maybe you add more boxes and you make your little fort bigger. But this is the space where your imagination gets to play, and really you play in this world like nothing else exists. Your parents are nowhere to be found, and maybe your pets play in there with you, but you're imagining a world that doesn't actually exist, right? You're imagining that this box is your playground, right? And you're playing in it, and to you it's real. It has a door because you created it. It has a window because you created it and you cut them out yourself, and you're playing in that space. You go in and out of the door, Maybe you imagine inside of there some furniture, or maybe it becomes bigger. Maybe it expands into possibilities once you're inside of that playful space, right? Your imagination is really your limitation. And if you don't have a limitation, then you imagine what you're creating inside of there. It's a whole universe of fun. And you're the one playing in it. And you can play in there forever. You don't even know time when you're playing. So until your mom says, hey, it's dinner time, you don't know. You could be in there for days. It's a super fun place to play. And so I'm here to say that the child that played in that box is still with you right now. You're still that same being that was cutting out windows and doors in the box as you were then that you are now. And what box are you playing in? What imagination space are you playing in? So you can look at, you know what? You live in that box right now when you look at your house or the place that you live. Is it got a door? And has it got a window, right? Maybe it has some drapery on it. The door has a door handle, all those fun things. You're living in that space right now. What does it look like? Like, could you ever have imagined as that child, like, and I'm sure that you did, that what that house looked like you were playing in, potentially you're looking at it right now, only as an adult. And it feels like no time, because it feels like yesterday I was doing that, right? I couldn't even imagine how many days ago it actually was. And from that space, how can you grow in your life right now, right? Because the first thing is knowing that you're still that person. You're still that child, not necessarily in age, but in spirit, in energy. You still have the same capacity to reach and play in that imagination space as you did when you were a kid. The difference is all of the programs that you put in the way of making that a truly fun space to play. How can you play there if you think that you can't? Or it was only for kids, or it was only for like dreamers and they never get what they want. But really, is that true? Right? You get to ask yourself that question. Is it true that if I play in my imagination that I can't actually have it? Like that was just for as a kid. That was just where I played as a kid. And I'm here to say no. You can have all of that stuff, and that's how you change your reality today. Is the first key to changing your reality right here, right now, in this moment, is accepting that you are still that same energy, that same being that you were as a child. The same energy. The only difference is that linear time has created your body to age, but and your wisdom to grow, right? Your knowledge to grow. Yet you're still that same energy that came into this reality, and you're still the same energy that will go out of this reality. So number one thing, acknowledge that you have an imagination, which is a magical key to your multiverse. So I have a really cool quote also from the Velveteen Rabbit, you know, the book. It's everything that is real was imagined first. Everything that is real was imagined first. So when you look at what I just said about accepting and acknowledging that your imagination truly is the gateway to possibility in your reality right now, because you really can have anything that your imagination can expand into, know that that is exactly true for your whole life. Everything that you're looking at was imagined once in someone's mind, right? Just looking around the room that you're in. There's a candle. There's markers or pens. There's glasses to see through. There's cups to drink out of. There's lights with light bulbs and whiteboards, and you know, there's speakers, and you name it. Everything that you look at in your room, in your house, in the place that you're being right now, even in a car, if you're in a car listening, that car was once an imagined space in someone's mind who took that imaginational capacity and placed it on a piece of paper and then walked themselves through the mechanics of how they could put that into play. Like, how can they put all those pieces together to make it real? And then they played with other humans who could support them in actually making that real, right? Or like, oh, hey, I'm an engineer. I can see exactly how we can put that car together. It looks like this. That's how their mind works, right? They're utilizing the access of their imagination from the space of an engineer. How is that not possible all the time, right? Have you ever wondered how your contribution in this reality is actually leaving the legacy, the mark, the creative opportunity for others that come along beside you or behind you or what have you and see your work and go, oh my gosh, that's so inspiring. I'm going to create from that space too. And really, it comes down to your imagination. It all does. So today is the space where you're going to shift the way you see the world, the way you see your world, because you're the creator of it. What lessons are you gaining by seeing it as it is? And what can you put out into the world that will change it for the better, in sense that it's your reality, you're going to live it? How could it be more fun, more colorful, more playful, more profitable, more palatable, and more exciting, and more full of joy and abundance? And that's the place that we get to live in today. So as we move into the show and we see what's truly possible when you're moving into that imagination space, and I want to say imaginatory, like I'm making up words, you're going to get into that imaginatory space and you're going to play as though you're still that like 5-year-old or 8-year-old child that actually played in their imagination at one point. And you're going to create your reality from there today. You're going to look at everything that's in it, from looking in the mirror, looking at your physical body, seeing what you love about it, and maybe acknowledging that you never looked in the mirror, right? You never even look in the mirror to see what you love about yourself, because you're the creator of your human experience and this beautiful temple vessel that you live in. And then you're going to look around. What don't you like about the space that you live in? And how can you change it? And just use that beautiful imagination to change what it looks like. And you can even use, I often do this, and my husband thinks it's funny. I'll think, oh, you know what? I'm going to change the way the living room works. And his first place he goes to is, oh my God, here she goes. She's going to spend all kinds of money changing the living room. But it's not actually true. All I do is go downstairs and I go, look at all these awesome pictures I have down here. And we have like a bunch of them underneath the stairs in the closet. And we have some up on the walls. And I'm like, I'm going to actually move those upstairs and change the way the upstairs living room looks and bring these ones upstairs downstairs. And then I think, okay, well, I'm going to paint the walls a different color because they get to match the pictures. And then I'm going to change up, the furniture, and I'm going to move stuff around. Maybe I'm going to move downstairs furniture up and upstairs furniture down. And I'm just going to like change the way it looks and feels based on my own imagination, right? I'm working with what I already have. And I have the capacity to change the way a room feels just by moving things around, just by changing some colors and pulling in different frequencies of color. That's using my imagination. No one's telling me to do it. No one's like going, hey, this is your next move. You got to change your living room around so it feels better. No, I was just inspired by my own nature to step in and go, you know what, something more fun feels like it could happen in this room. I mean, I know I loved it up until today, and now I'd like to just change the way it feels. And so off I go into my imagination, and I play with what I already have. Like, well, let's go back to the box that your parents had when they got a new piece of furniture or got a new appliance. I'm going to go back to the box, and I'm going to change it. Right? I'm going to take a black marker and I'm going to draw something new on the box and cut it out. It's to me the same type of experience. I'm changing the environment in which I live in order to have a different experience. Now, that's just a very minuscule aspect of how your whole entire reality can change when you look at it from that space. But right now, we're going to start somewhere small, right? What can change? I mean, I'm always looking at every room I spend time in my house. I'm wondering, what can I move and change, and what can I bring in here that was never in here before, and what can I move out that gets to move out of this space so it feels different. And so that's the first aspect of utilizing your imagination to change something. So it's an easy place to play. It's a great space to begin the process of moving your imagination into a bigger role in your reality. Because right now we're looking around, we're just changing the space, right? With stuff we already have, moving room to room. And so let's see how that feels, right? Let's walk around the room and take a good look and see what pictures we can move. And it's all a part of your imagination, because if you can't see it in your head first, maybe you're going to move the picture first and put it up on the wall and see how it looks. And then maybe you're going to take it down because it doesn't feel like you thought it was going to feel. But it's still your imagination that causes you to even imagine that it could go there. Imagine that you could bring it up and change the way a room feels. and move the couch to face it or what have you. So as that is our first step and we're walking into our first break, I want you to, bring your phone or whatever it is you're listening on and walk around the room in your house or in your apartment, or if you're driving, just, imagine if you're pulled over, and please don't do this while you're driving, just spend some time in your head, in your rooms, and see what you can change around, because it's that simple. That's step one in rearranging your reality to play in your imagination to change what's possible today. So we're going to step into our first break. You are listening to the Crossroads to Awakening show, and I'm your host, Wendy Paquette, and we will be back right after this.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it to, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. So what did you see when you walked around your room? Or what were you imagining was possible when you considered, how you could just change things up? How simple it is and how obvious it is that we're utilizing our imaginations all the livelong day, right? And where we're living from and how we're experiencing our reality. Because let's be honest, if you're not creating your reality, who is? Right? If you're not creating your reality, who is? And let's get clean on that one. If you want to know, just give yourself the opportunity to look back and see who you listen to and who influences you and who, inspires you or tells you what to do or imagines, or sometimes we just do what we're told. That's just a habit that was instilled as children, do as you're told, right? So sometimes we buy that program and we live from there, and we really don't give ourselves permission to create consistently. Let's face it, as a creative being of light, as we came in, we didn't come here just to do as we were told. We came here, yes, to, follow some natural rules of, creating order from the chaos that could ensue. And we also came here to have a beautiful experience. I mean, this is a beautiful place to live when you're in the temple of your body, living your reality on purpose. Why else would you come here? Why else would you be alive? Right? It's not to live a mundane, gray-scaled reality. It's to live life on purpose, full of vibrant colors and beingness. And that's, as an energetic being, who you be at all given times. It's how you react and respond to your life, which changes things, right? So I'm here to pull in an inspirational opportunity for you to stand in your imagination and see your life differently right now, right today. And it is a fun place to live. What if you only played with me for this hour, right? You actually just blocked out the rest of the world, turned off all your notifications, and played with me for an hour to see what was truly possible. what do you think would open up for you? What changes could get created just by your mere acknowledging that you are the creator of your reality and your imagination is what's creating it, right? How you respond to everyone, that's what's creating it. And sometimes we respond poorly, and that creates even poorer situations. So we get a handle on that program as well, right? Let's get clean on how do we respond to others, and what is that creating in our reality, and how is it supporting us or not supporting us, and shift from that space. So let's move into the next phase of using our imagination so that we can change our current reality. So I'd like to pull in another Albert Einstein quote, and he says, "Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions." Right? Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. That's by Albert Einstein, who we all know have created a million things on this planet. And from his imagination, those things were birthed. Now, he had his own creative processes and his own capacities in order to understand himself better, because he knew when he played there that he could literally create anything he wanted to because he said so. Talk about a powerful experience, right? Because he said he was going to create it, he didn't stop when he failed, 2,000 times, the light bulb, that kind of thing. He didn't fail. He just kept reinventing how he saw everything, right? How he saw the way things looked in his mind. And if you did that for yourself, imagine that you could create your living room. So I keep bringing it back to a room in your house because it seems like the simplest place to go. But, stand in your living room. Imagine it looking differently, right? In your mind's eye, in your imagination, paint the wall a different color. What else would get to change? Would your couch get to change? Would the pictures on your wall get to change? If you have carpet, would that change? Or if you have area rugs, would those change? What would change? What would get to change in order to shift everything so that it all flowed with beauty and ease and coherence in your reality, right? In that room, I'm saying your reality in that room. You can see it. I mean, I look at mine and it's like a pale, almost like a mint color green and everything, mint green, and then, there's chocolate brown and there's, all kinds of colors that kind of go in that hue and gray. And if I change the color on the wall from mint green to, let's pick something else like yellow, would everything still flow the same way? I suppose it would depend on the shade of yellow that it was, because pale yellow could go with brown as I see it in my mind. Yeah, that could work. Maybe a couple of things would shift. I'd have a couple of pictures that had a lot of mint green in it move out, I'd take them down and put something else up. But I could see how it would work. How do you think I could see how it would work if I can't imagine it in my imagination? Right? How would I know that? That's exactly what your life gets to be created from, that space. What if I grew my business? What if I took better care of my health? What if I opened myself up to love and to relationships? What would my life look like? See, now we're on to something, right? Now we're on to moving into a space where, what if we've been wanting a relationship for so bad and all we keep staring at is that we don't have one, and how lonely it feels, and how badly you want to share your life with someone who gets you. And the only thing that you're staring at is that it's not there. It's not happening, and you're not actually experiencing it. That, what you're staring at, is what gets created, because that's what you're staring at. So, of course, your imagination is painting that whole scenario of how no one ever comes around, or no one invites you to go out anywhere. Perhaps you're just not, maybe you're on a dating app and you're just not getting those, really cool opportunities to even experience a new date with someone, because the ones that happen to show up in your feed are like lame, boring, or colorless, right? The only way you're going to know what it could feel like and create it from the space of imagination is to actually imagine what it would feel like to be in that situation. So you can lean into any one of those categories. What if you put more energy and time into enrolling more clients into your business? Or maybe you wanted to expand it in a different way. What would it actually look like? And go into the details. Well, it would look like, having to spend more time on enrollment calls, and then it would look like more time in marketing or potentially putting yourself out there. And then it would look like your program would get to shift because now you went from one type of program which served many to a type of program maybe that serves one-to-one. It only makes that opportunity clearer when you give yourself permission to play in your imagination to see what it would look like. Maybe you get all the way through looking at your business and thinking you want to grow it to some particular level and realize when you're in your imagination that, actually I don't want to go there. That doesn't actually feel as fun as I thought it would. Now that I see it in my imagination for what it is, that does not actually make any sense whatsoever. So then you look into the space of relationships in the same way. Like, what do I actually want in a relationship? And how could that look? Would I want to spend more time with someone? Would I want to go on vacation with someone? What would that feel like? Like, literally use your imagination to find the story, to find the picture, and paint in that space. And feel into what it feels like. So just like, as a kid, when you played inside of the, cardboard box, like it was a real house, now you're playing in the space of maybe your relationship or your business or even your health. What would it feel like if I felt my most amazing, healthful self, where I had tons of energy and I didn't have, maybe I cleaned up my allergies, or I lost a few pounds because, right now I got a couple extra COVID pounds hanging around. What would it actually feel like to play in that space? And how does that inspire you to keep going? So now we're dipping into like the next level stuff, right? This is like, we're talking real life, imaginational spaces as I would say most of the people that listen to my show are adult humans, right? We're playing in a space now where perhaps leaning in is more of a possibility, right? Because now we could see it, really go there. It doesn't take long to allow your imagination to play in that space with you, because if your imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions, wouldn't you like to know what it looks like, right? If Albert Einstein is saying that your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions, perhaps you'd like to get a read on what you'd like to come in and how it could feel. And the only way is by tapping into that beautiful imagination of yours and experiencing whatever it is you're after before it actually arrives, so that you can shift that, because your thoughts and the programs in your mind might be thinking, I want to make more money, I want to make more money, I want to make more money, and you're looking at your business as a vehicle to make more money, but you don't really know what's involved with that, right? Maybe you don't realize that you're going to have to hire some people. Maybe you don't want to do that, but you don't know that yet. Maybe it will require more time and dedication for the next year. But until you actually utilize your imagination to go there for yourself, to see what it actually might look like, pull in those possibilities, how will you ever know? And let me tell you, nothing greater than when you decide you think you want something, playing in that imagination space and realizing, ooh, actually, I don't think I do want that. And in fact, I know I don't. I actually want something else. But playing in your imagination space with that particular thing gifted you the knowing that it's actually not that. There might have been an aspect to that, but not actually that. And so you lean into a different direction. So I'm looking at a question from Jen in the chat room, and it says, can your imagination hold you back too? Of course it can. Because if you think you want something and you haven't actually played in the space of imagination to pull it in the aspect that serves you, how could you possibly get what you want? Because in essence, you don't even know what that is, right? You can't even detail it out. And details are the pieces of the imagination that cause it to come into physical reality. So go back to the cardboard box house. If I didn't draw the door first, I wouldn't be able to use the scissors to cut it out the same way as I drew it and create it as a door. If I didn't draw the window first, I wouldn't know what boxes to follow, because I actually drew curtains in them as well, right? I would have cut the curtains out. So it gives you the blueprint of what's possible. And if you don't have even an aspect of a blueprint, who knows what will show up? If you're listening to somebody whose life isn't really working like you would like it, but you're listening to them and they're influencing you, guess what your life's going to turn out like? Theirs. You're actually going to have an experience that mimics someone that is influencing you that you didn't even realize it because you're leaning in their direction and you're not creating from your imagination, you're creating from what they've already created or even their imagination. What worse, right? So we're hopping into our second break and we're going to go in, and my invitation to you is like, okay, if you've walked around your room and you've imagined it different, sit down and imagine an aspect of your life that you'd really like to embody right now. Play in that imagination space for a couple minutes, and when we come back, we'll talk into that. So I'm Wendy Paquette, and again, you're listening to the Crossroads to Awakening show on the Inspired Choices Network, and we will be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, now, that imagination space is and can be so much fun. It really can be a space where anything is truly possible because you know what? As a kid, everything is possible. They don't know any different. And because of that, they just play in a space where, their life and their playing is in an infinite possibility. The cool part about that is that we haven't actually changed, right, as kids to adults. The only thing that has changed is our perspective of what it means to be growing up, to be grown up, to mature, to change to age. That's just a perspective. So if we allowed ourselves to see that what the gift we were given, and this is the truth, right? How many of you already know that if you get something for free, you do not value it as much as if you were to have paid for it, right? So if you pay good money for something, you know damn well you're getting something that you value because you paid for it. Imagination is something that we were gifted coming into this reality, and it was free. So of course we don't value it like we should or like we could, because in our minds it's free. We didn't pay for it, so how much value could it actually have? And, I'm here to tell you that it has more value than anything you could ever pay for, because look at the things that we actually came in with that are free. Love, family, the imagination. Need I go on? How many things did you come into this reality that were free that we don't value? What if that's the greatest lesson we could ever learn as humans in this reality? That those gifts that we received that were free coming into this reality that we were born with should be at the top of the list. Loving one another, having family, being connected, being human, having a body, having this beautiful temple that we were born into, all of it free, born into it, and has the highest value possible. So let's play there, okay? So now you get to give yourself permission to go, okay, I didn't look at it like that before. I didn't look at my imagination being a gift I was brought in here with, and yes, it was free, and it's more powerful than anything else, and here is the cool word you can place on it. Priceless. Priceless. Your imagination is priceless. It doesn't have a value that you can place on it. It has only the energy that you can utilize it for. which in this space is infinite. It's an infinite place to play. So let's lean into that now. Maybe you've had a chance to think, you've sparked a couple of ideas of where you'd like to go in your reality with something you'd like to create. So we've looked at, the space of creation itself, like imagination, how we can easily see something different. Then we're looking into spaces now where we'd like to create from. And potentially some roadblocks could be, who do we actually allow to influence us without realizing it? Because just because you were born in, with this beautiful free gift of like love, imagination, possibility, family, friends, all those things that kind of we were gifted coming into this reality, it doesn't mean that they own your imagination. And they do influence. I mean, how many times have your parents told you, oh yes, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, be one of those, right? You're going to make the most money. So they lean you in that direction because they think they're doing you a favor. But they don't realize that that space is not theirs to create from. That space is yours, right? Or in reference to my family, then it would be, that space is mine. My mother has no business creating from my imaginal space, and she can't. She can only influence it, right? And that's a choice that I get to make. It doesn't make what she's saying wrong. It doesn't make her influence wrong. It makes it her influence. And I'm sure she's coming from a beautiful space of support and possibility and love, and it still doesn't make it mine, right? I can receive all those things without taking her idea of me being a doctor to heart and go, well, because my mom told me to, that's what I'm going to be, because she knows me. She birthed me into this reality, right? So what I got gifted, even by coming from her, or whether you were, adopted into anything, what you get gifted is that the knowing that someone cares enough about you to support you in the way of giving you ideas, and you still have your imagination to play from, and it's an infinite space of everything that's yours, right? 100% yours. So now that you've found something that you want to potentially play around with in your imagination and see if it's something that you really, really want, what could that thing bring you as far as feelings go? Because it's one thing to imagine it in your mind and to see it, but now lean into, what does it feel like to be experiencing that in your reality as you see it right now? Not in the future, but right now. Step into the nowness of it. So let's play the pretend game in your imagination. Let's lean into, I don't know, we can lean into a business, or relationships I think are more fun because they're more on a connected nature. Let's say you've been single for a really long time, and you've always really wanted someone to share your life with, and you have all these ideas of what it would, be like to have someone in your world and to share your life with someone, to wake up with someone, and, to be excited about what they're up to. And that's fine when you're looking outside of you, at what you're creating, but how are you feeling about it all? How are you feeling about having someone that you're waking up next to that you are extremely inspired by? And in return, they're inspired by you, right? Your mere existence in their reality is the greatest light gift that they've ever received, and you feel the same way about them. Now imagine, what is the feeling that comes up for you? What excitement, what joy, what bliss, what creative experience can you feel from yourself in that space that would have you bouncing out of bed, thrilled to wake up in your life and keep going? What other things are possible now? If you're looking at, that's just waking up in the morning. We haven't even got down to all the rest of the beautiful possibilities of what your life looks like the colorful beauty of what your life looks like. What kind of house do you live in together, right? What kind of life do you have? Do you get up early in the morning and, maybe do yoga together and then have a great cup of coffee or tea and have some breakfast, and then, you kiss each other on the way out the door, hop into separate cars, and then go to your work and leave inspired every morning? Or is it different? Do they go off to work earlier than you and you spend some morning time on your own, right? Or do you work from home? Play in that space where you can imagine what it's like, and not just the visual, but the feeling, right? What does it feel like to live your life like that? And there's a million things you can pull in. I'm sure that you can imagine what it would be like if you're younger and you would like children, or maybe you don't want children. I guess all okay. What if you have animals and you run an animal rescue? What if those are your children? Like, there's so many things that you could possibly imagine in your life that would bring such joy. It's just giving yourself permission to take the time, the valuable gift of time, one thing you can never get back, and utilize it on purpose to pull through with your beautiful imagination what your life could look like. Because I'm here to share with you, when you do that, the more you play in that space, when you know exactly like what it is that you love feeling about it, what it looks like, and you keep detailing it and honoring it and playing there with such joy, the odds amplify, quantify, magnify, and come to you as a living experience of actualization. So some call it manifestation, right? You want to manifest what you want. But I hesitate to use the word manifest because it feels just so overused. It's actualizing it. You are actually living the life that you imagined, right? Actualize your life through the magical gift of imagination. That's all yours on purpose, right? Utilizing the super valuable aspect that we have called time, right? Taking time out of your day to create from that space. So now that you've found something, and I hope that you have, even something simple. It could be something simple like wanting a dog in your life. Like you want to have a dog, a companion. That's, a four-legged beautiful thing. Or maybe it's three-legged and you get to take care of it. Like whatever it looks like, lean in. Give yourself the valuable aspect of time to imagine it. Play with the colors, the smells, the sights, the ideas, especially the feelings of what it feels like. And play in that imagination world. Give it energy. Focus on it, right? Let that be the focus of your attention on purpose for a longer period of time than just a mere glimpse of something that you coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Play there. Hold yourself in that space and feel the joy, feel the energy, feel the possibility, feel the nuances and the extended opportunities looking out further than even just today and this now. And know that what you're creating is your life, right? You're utilizing your imagination as the preview of your life's coming attractions, which Albert Einstein so clearly stated. Right? He also said logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Right? Logic will get you from A to B, and imagination will take you everywhere. So that tells me that your life is infinitely possible. Right? Infinitely. There's no number on infinite. It's infinite. So where do you get to go with your life now? And what could that look like? Right? So you're going to play in a bigger game, in a bigger space, and on purpose. So soon we're going to be headed into our next break, actually probably now, and my invitation for you is to write it down on a piece of paper. Like pull it from your imagination, right? Even an aspect of what you like to play in. Write it down on a piece of paper. I would like, or I want, XYZ. A beautiful relationship now. A romantic relationship, right? Just write something that causes you to be able to go back to that. So if you've been following along with me and you're playing in the space of imagination, you'll be able to go back and re-access that entry point to see where you were when we were playing in that space here on this show. And make that the on-purpose piece that we get to play in every day until you actualize it. So write it down. So on this short break, write down where you were playing or ideas, even write down a bunch of ideas, but you're going to pick one by the end of the show and you're going to play there on purpose. So coming back from the break afterwards, I'll tell you how you can get in touch with me quicker, how you can play in this space of possibility, and how you can get access to my community. So you can play there all the time. You can play with me inside of there, and how you can lean into the space, the new course that I'm putting out into the world. And I'll tell you all about it when we come back. So we will be right back after these messages.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Okay, everyone, we're back, and I'm hoping that you're in this space of possibility, of excitement, of what's truly possible for you, because, we get stuck sometimes. It's human, right? It's human to get stuck, and there's nothing wrong with that. It happens to the best of us. And the great part about it is you were led to listen to this, whether it's live at the time or podcast after, in order to be awakened to what else is possible for you, because there is so much more. And, I know that we say those who leave the planet when they're at the end of their time always say it went by so fast, right? And we just don't want to hear what they're actually landing with us. But what they're really saying is that time is non-existent in the space of possibility and of having fun. And when you're having fun, it seems like there's no time. And when you're not having fun, it feels like it's taking forever. But when you're at the end of your life and you look back, don't you want to be so excited about what you created and how brave you are and how brave you were and how courageous, and how if you weren't so courageous, I made up another new word, creative and courageous and open to possibilities, if you didn't lean into your imagination and create what you really wanted, how none of the beautiful experiences that you got to have when you're looking back at what you created for your life would have happened had you not even just entertained your imagination for a short minute, right? So we get to look at that from that space now, where you're going to be able to create from this space, because there's no reason why you couldn't even take, 5 minutes. I mean, I know this sounds weird, but you think you don't have time. So, okay, you go to the bathroom every day, multiple times a day. What if you took the 30 seconds to, be in that room and imagine something about your life, right? I get it. Lives are busy. And when you're looking at linear time, you're looking at no time, because you don't have time for anything. You've created such a busy life. And there's always an opportunity to create time, right? So utilize the bathroom. So many cool things happen there. And I'm not just meaning, in those spaces. I have the most incredible meditative bubble baths of my life. I would say most of my enlightenment experiences have occurred there. I've pulled myself to some mega breakthroughs while looking in my own eyes into the mirror. And it is the time that if I added it all up, I would spend a fair bit of time there, because there's always something going on. So if I utilized all the time I spend in there to create something, or maybe even play in the space of imagination there, what could I have created? So many things, so many possibilities. So that's my invitation to you. It might not be in the washroom. I'm just merely suggesting there's always going to be a time where you can create from that space. Maybe you walk. Maybe you spend time walking. And instead of listening to music, what if you listen to your thoughts? and creating from the space of your imagination while you're walking. Or what else could you be doing? I don't know, do you go out on the water? The water does it for me all the time. Being on a beach, just dipping my toes in the water creates energy, movement for me. But utilize some aspect of your life. In the car, my goodness, if the car is the most brilliant place to play in your imagination, because you can focus on the road and be an alpha at the same time and create from a super powerful frequency, a mind frequency, right, of alpha. Utilize it, right? Put a sticky note in whatever space you're in. So if it's in the bathroom, put it on the mirror. Remind yourself to lean into your imagination as you are creating your life. Every moment that you're thinking, you're creating your life, right? Because all those thoughts are coming to your reality from some place, some space, because you're thinking it. So, moving forward, my invitation to you is connect. Connect with me. Create a space where your visions are heard, or maybe your blocks. Perhaps the blocks are too great for you to see past, and it's just not, you're just not capable of doing it alone. That's exactly why you get to evoke someone to support you in that space, because no one's meant to do it alone. Otherwise, we'd be born on a planet with only one person, right? We wouldn't be here with so many other humans of like mind, because that's what we're here to share, right, with each other, is support, possibility, love, all those beautiful things. So that is my invitation. You can find me at wendypaquette.com. That's the number one place. You can send me a message from there. You can find me on, any kind of social, Wendy Bruner Paquette, or look at the Crossroads to Awakening show. I believe you put the @ sign in front of it on Facebook. But find me and reach out and let's connect. The new program that's coming out is Mastering Visualization, which truly is actualizing your life. It's going to the exact place that you're looking to head, but it's step by step by step. Walking into that space where you're going to be able to follow my guidance through video and audio to get there, and you're not alone. You get to play with someone who's been there, and I create massive things all the time, and I love it and enjoy it. And I can't do this alone because it's not as fun unless I play with others who are accessing their imagination and playing in that space possibility as well. So let's play. Perhaps you'll be in the program with me and like-minded other humans where you can connect with and create from that space. And who knows, maybe collaborate. How much fun would that be? But come play, right? Let's put your imagination to work so that you can have everything and anything you've ever wanted. And listen, if you think there's a limit on what's truly possible, that's crazy, because there isn't. It's infinite. The possibilities are infinite. And you get to play there. And I believe in you already. So when you come, I will hear your infinite possibilities and probably expand you into further, because we all limit ourselves in some way. And you'll be able to go after it with imagination, I say a reckless, abandoned imagination where there's no things that get in the way. So as we're coming up to the end of the show, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you're showing up and you're listening and you were guided and intrigued in your reality to come to this space right now so that you could hear this information, you could hear this message, and live an incredible, incredible life. Because you decided so, because you said so, and because you're creating from that space. So we're looking at October for that program to launch, and I cannot wait to play with you in that space because, I don't know that there's anything that I've been not thoroughly excited to be a part of and support and amplify and ignite in that space, and I will, and that is my promise to you. So I will see you soon, and you'll hear more about this on future episodes so that you can jump in, but don't wait. I can't wait to see you in there. This has been an amazing show. I will see you next week with full possibility and great things next week. See y'all later.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey and we'll meet you at the crossroads.